Good morning, good day, good afternoon. It's Roger Roadside here saying hello. Hello. Is it me you're looking for? Anyone feel like a puppet right now? Because I sure as bloody hell do. This is Roger Roadside, just heading down the highway. Heading down the highway, looking for adventure. Have I never come that way? But listen, just wanted to ask the question, and I wanted to steer it away from UK politics because, you know, it's just such a dark and gloomy situation. But before I get into that, if you haven't seen my previous little subathon video, I'm trying to get to 100 subs by the 11th of March, which is my son's first birthday. I'm currently on about 79 subs at the moment. Would love to get to 100 by then. We've got about 6 days, I think. About 6 days, which is not long, to get 20 subs. Which, you know, for a YouTube superstar, they probably get 20 subs. They probably just blink and 20 subs. For me, oh mate, it could take a couple of years. So I'd really appreciate if you have stumbled across this video, and you know, I do a bit of live stuff, I do a bit of pre-recorded stuff, and it's basically just me on the road, Roger Roadside, and yeah, I'd love to get to 100 by my son's first birthday, which is the 11th of March, so help a brother out and sub to the channel. But I just wanted to ask the question today, do you subscribe to this whole Jim Carrey clone conspiracy? Because I've been watching a little bit of it this morning, you know, trying to take my mind off this dire state that this country is in here in the UK. But yeah, do you think that Sir Jim Carrey, well, he's not Sir Jim, is he? Jim Carrey, he attended a French Awards recently, the César Awards, which is basically like the Oscars. And if you see him, you know, during the award ceremony and during the acceptance speech and during a little press junket he did with one of the bloody suppliers out the front, he just didn't seem himself. You know, I grew up on Jim Carrey, so, you know, I grew up on The Animal Detective, I grew up on The Mask, I grew up on you know, I was there when Jim Carrey first hit the market, and I was a teenage boy, and, you know, I loved Jim Carrey, and I still do. And as Jim got older, he became a lot more eclectic, and he became a lot more disheveled and a lot more distant from the service that he was sort of enrolled in. You know, as an actor, part of your service is putting on that face and always being that person who is entertaining. And for a lot of time, Jim, you know, in my humble opinion, you may think differently, but for a long time, Jim was that person. He put on that happy face and he put on that smile regardless of what was going on. But then as his career progressed and as he, I guess, shifted into, you know, from being a comedy actor and mainly just comedy and faces and physical comedy, he really did make a shift into legitimate acting roles. And, you know, I thought he was great. I thought he was great in Man in the Moon. It was the Sunshine of the, it was a long title, Sunshine of the something mind, the Beautiful Mind, something like that. You know, the Truman Show, obviously, and is, I think, one of the first movies where he sort of started branching away from comedy. But I think when he transported himself into legitimate actor world, along with that, sort of developed some sort of now look, it might be an ego born in realism, but it also might be just an ego born in the surroundings that he was in. You know, he was, you know, one of Hollywood's #1 actors, and you know, that in itself must inflate one's ego by, you know, 1,000,000%. we've seen it with other actors like Joaquin Phoenix and plenty of them, where they sort of like self-combust and they sort of want to distance themselves from Hollywood. Oh, I just had a little phone call come through, so maybe there was a bit of a jump in the video there. But yeah, I mean, look, it seems to be that he went on a bit of a transformation, didn't he? He went on a bit of a transformation where he started distancing himself from Hollywood. He started doing this shtick about, the Illuminati and all that sort of stuff. And, it's really difficult with that sort of stuff because you just don't know if he is just leaning into the joke of there being a Illuminati and a conspiracy and body doubles and clones and all that sort of stuff. Because, there's also interviews where he did, where he mentioned that he would send out a clone, a body double first to sort of take all the press and the paparazzi in one direction, and he'd sort of slip out the back. So he said that before in various interviews. So, my take on it, for what it's worth, again, I haven't really investigated it too long, but doesn't take a rocket scientist. A rocket scientist, yeah. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that there's, differences in the colour of the eyes, differences in the shape of the, the face. And look, some people could say maybe he just recently had Botox, maybe he recently had work done. I mean, if you look at Jim's persona and stuff over the last few years, and his sheer fact of not giving us stuff, it then sort of begs the question, well, why would he get Botox? So if my take is, I think it's a body double. I think it's just a prank, something to stir up conversation. It's got the world talking about Jim Carrey. If Jim Carrey hadn't have gone to the award ceremony, it would have been your standard, reclusive Jim Carrey sort of press that would have lasted, a week, and then people would have moved on. If he had have gone there, he probably would have been, quite sour about it, or quite, judgmental about the awards and stuff like that. And maybe, he just didn't want that. And so maybe something that gives a bit more airtime and something that causes a bit more of a, it goes down in history of that time that Jim Carrey sent the body double to go receive the Lifetime Awards. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's much more poignant and much more... hang on, this guy's just taking a whiz. Let's just say, go on, son! Yeah, he bloody loved it. It's just something that, it's genius. It's genius work, Send your body double to go and receive the Lifetime Award. What a legend. I mean, I love that. But that's what I really think is probably happened here. I think Jim Carrey's body double has gone there. Someone who knows Jim extremely well, knows his mannerisms, and whilst he does them very well, I don't think there was anyone in the world that was really deceived by them. But it was a genius ruse. And, is there a chance that it is a clone? Is it a chance that something has actually happened to the real life Jim Carrey, and this is the, what sort of, there's a couple of movies where, people's bodies have been sort of taken away to do like Secret Service stuff, and they've replaced it with like an android or a clone or something like that. Could that be happening? Look, potentially. I would give it a fairly low probability, but we live in a very weird world. You never bloody know. So, listen, what do you think? Get your thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And, again, doing the subathon, would love to have a subscription if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. I'm trying to get to 100 by the 11th of March. And make sure you like the video, share it, comment down below. And yeah, this is Roger Roadside saying ciao for now, and alrighty then.